Who are you? What are the affiliate websites you run? Was that your first website? How did you get your first customer? So how did it feel when you got that first sale on your Kindle book? But what are you working on now? Welcome to the JOD Pod, a micro podcast where we interview CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs, authors, and coaches. Today, we are joined by AJ Saunders, founder of AJS Digital. Great to have you with us today, AJ.
Great to be here. How you doing?
I'm doing exceptionally well. Thanks for asking. So, for those of us who don't know you, AJ, who are you?
Good question. So, I'm primarily a digital marketing kind of consultant. So, I currently have a couple of affiliate sites that make me a good living. And then on top of that, I'm just about to launch a content creation course, which is about a framework that I use to grow my businesses. That I've shown to other people, and people are really excited by it. So I've turned that into a course and a consultancy package.
Fantastic. What are the affiliate websites you run?
So I've got one that's to do with property, which I'm currently building in a different direction. So we're currently going into more kind of home automation, home cinema. So I feel that there's a lot of content that is missing in those two kind of worlds. Because there's lots of sites that will tell you how to buy a property, and they're really, really good. And so, yes, I'm just trying to re-niche and do something that I'm really passionate about, which is home automation and home cinemas. Because who wouldn't want to turn their spare bedroom into home cinema? And who wouldn't want to get home and have a coffee waiting, as they walk in the door? So, yeah, that's what I'm really, really excited about. So I've got that. I've then got a portfolio of smaller sites. So I've got a tennis site, a horse riding site, a site about playing guitar, which is my first kind of passion kind of thing. Love.
Was that your first website, the guitar website?
Yeah, well, so I got into websites when I was about 15. A friend's dad was head of IT at school, and I was there over that weekend, and he said to me, and his son, I have to teach this on Monday, you're going to be the guinea pigs this weekend. And, being fairly nerdish and being fairly kind of bit geeky, learning a bit of HTML and CSS at the age of 15 was really actually quite exciting. And it just has kind of stuck with me, and I've done it enough over the years to kind of know enough to get myself out of trouble once I got myself into trouble.
How did you get your first customer on websites?
That's a good question. So years ago, I started building websites to do agencies around being a musician. You obviously then try and leverage your time, not your talent. Mm-hmm. So you try and build an agency, which I built this amazingly complex agency website, which I don't think I might actually have somewhere. That took absolutely forever to build. It was really, really exciting. It had little boxes where you click on the box and all the other boxes would disappear. It was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. It took far longer than whatever. But it didn't rank in Google. And so, fast forward, I then wrote some guitar books, which I launched on Kindle, which have done really, really well. And then I started to get into affiliate that way. And that really, really taught me the basics of being able to rank on Google, being able to kind of write persuasively, being able to write in my own voice, which obviously is really, really important. Mm. And so, and then I started to sell guitar pedals and guitar paraphernalia off the back of selling guitar books.
So how did it feel when you got that first sale on your Kindle book?
Absolutely incredible. And it's not about the money, it's just about the fact that you achieved something. And what actually is way better is when you get that first email saying, I've never thought about playing guitar in that way, that's really, really cool. And I've got loads of emails from all over the world, from people saying that kind of thing. It's just absolutely incredible that you think it was something little and small that I wrote in my spare bedroom, 8 years ago.
Yeah, you're actually impacting someone's life. That's fantastic.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. So what are you mentioned this at the beginning, but what are you working on now?
So I'm working on building up my affiliate property sites. Mm-hmm. I'm also just about to launch a course, which is really, really exciting. And so it's a content framework course. So it's a lot of people that write blogs and a lot of people that start podcasts will start doing YouTube. They get their first 10 ideas and they run out of steam. and they don't have a system in place, they don't have any kind of formality in what they're doing. I've had this with a lot of blogs as well. A lot of bloggers, so I was working with a client last week who, really, really passionate guy about helping people start a side hustle. But he has no idea about how to build out a content framework that allows him to create content, weekly or monthly, and how that kind of looks and how that kind of grows his business. And he doesn't have an idea of how to then get that content to rank in Google, so he gets passive traffic so he can sell courses, he can sell business plans, he can then trade people into his Facebook group and onto his email newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously all the big marketing channels that you want. It was absolutely fascinating because he has really great content. It's just not ranking for anything. He hasn't thought about how to develop kind of keyword or keyword strategy that he could actually get clients from. And another one of my clients is a personal development coach, and it's like, it was really interesting. We had a call a couple of weeks ago, and she was saying, "Well, I'm out of ideas," and I was saying, "Okay, right. Well, explain to me your process. How process is, and give her pitch for her. It's clarity, focus, get started, right? And so that's really, really simple. It's easy to get." And I said, "Okay, right. So how do you tell your clients to get focused?" And as she starts talking to me, I'm like, "Well, you've given me 20 blog post ideas," and because they're not thinking in those kind of terms. Everything is, well, I've come up with the 10 that I think I can do. Blogging has really changed my life. Mm-hmm. I know so many other people whose lives have changed as well.
So if people want to start a career, is this course then designed for people who want to start a career in blogging? Or is this more starting as a side hustle and helping them generate ideas to then, one day for that to become their career?
Sure. So I'm primarily targeting at two different people. So mm-hmm. There are the people that want to start a blog, and the framework will teach you how to start a blog essentially, because it will give you endless ideas and will teach you how to convert ideas into actual blog posts and how to monitor your progress.
Yeah,
but it's also for people that may have a company blog that's going nowhere, and they're under real pressure to generate revenue, and they see their competitors kind of tailing ahead in terms of what they're generating from their blog or what they're apparently generating from their blog. And again, they've just got they don't have a strategy, so they need a strategy, and that's what they can buy, and the course will teach them.
Right. Okay. So it's for people who either want to start blogging or are already blogging and are kind of running out of steam.
Yeah.
About what they want to create. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And what's the course called?
So it's called How to Create Content That Drives Sales.
Fantastic. Because there's no point just creating content for the sake of it. You need there to be some kind of outcome that comes through. Excellent. Awesome. Listen, AJ, what's your favourite app or SaaS product that you use every day to do what you do?
So so there's two. I'm gonna do one selfish, one a bit more productive. So the productive one is Grammarly, because I'm slightly dyslexic and that really helps. And also I'm working with other writers who may be not British.
Yeah. And
so actually be able to put what they've written into Grammarly and have Grammarly kind of check it for you, it really is a fail safe. Mm-hmm. And so I absolutely adore it.
We use in our company, we use Grammarly all the time, and we recommend it to all of our customers. So yeah, it's a great tool for anybody that's producing any kind of content online.
Yeah. Yeah, and also what I love is, if you're trying to write, so a large part of what I do is try and write SEO content that's short and sweet and digestible. Mm-hmm. And actually, be able to use Grammarly will tell you, right, you've written a block of 300 words, and then I immediately go, okay, right, I've probably should make it into 2 paragraphs or 2 subsections.
Yeah,
and so that's
great
really,
for that.
really handy.
What's your second tool?
So my second one is Instagram, because I use it every day.
You are the Instagram king.
I am.
AJ.
I'm in property, right? So I'm visual. So so Instagram for me is the thing that I go to the most out of any of the socials. I know you're more LinkedIn and you're more Twitter, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, but Instagram's got its space. AJ, what's your most recommended book?
So this is a really good question. So for me, it's The Snowball, which is about Warren Buffett by Alice Schroeder, I believe. And that's just a really, really fascinating book because it documents the history of Warren Buffett.
Hmm.
And it's not a small book by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's something like 500 or 600 pages, maybe even more. But it's just really, really interesting how he's kind of devoted his life to one kind of core idea of how to invest and how that kind of utterly consumed him.
Yeah, he's a pretty focused guy.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite YouTuber or podcaster?
So, there's a few. So I like Noah Kagan, obviously. I have to plug him. I then really like. There's a guy called the Mob Report who I'm into kind of true crime, and I think he's an American or Canadian who does reporting on the mafia from all over the world. So it's really, really fascinating what he does.
And are they both YouTube and podcasts?
No, so they just YouTubes.
YouTube's cool.
I don't really do podcasts. And I know I do. I'm YouTube. I'm
YouTube's cool. That's cool.
I know, right?
That's nice. So you got one for work, and then you got one for relaxation, which is great.
And then one final one, if I may.
One final one.
Go for it. Called Hubie's Garage, who buys really, really dumb cars and tries to then do them up and either sells them or keeps them. And I'm not remotely into cars. I like one brand, which is Bentley, as you know. But I find he's absolutely fascinating because he's wrecks a car and then he goes, well, I've spent $2,000 on it and I'm now going to spend another $4,000 doing it up. It's worth $1,500 at the end of it, right?
Man,
so
I'm not a grease monkey, but for anybody that's interested in those kind of, it's the transformation and the stories, isn't it? That's what makes it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So who do you think would be the next Elon Musk or
Eric
Denise
Lee.
Coates, the CEO of Bet365? Who do you think the next one's going to be?
Eric Lee.
Eric Lee?
Yeah.
Look, I know Eric Lee. Why is Eric Lee going to be the next big guy on the block?
I think he's incredibly intelligent. He's incredibly wise for. He's early 20s, isn't he?
He's a young guy.
Right.
What's the name of his newsletter?
Savvy Saturdays.
Savvy Saturdays. We'll give it a plug. Help out the Eric Lee. He's going places.
He's definitely going places.
That's awesome. And AJ, where can people find you online? What's the best place to find you?
So the best place to find me is to go to ajsdigitalgroup.co.uk or get an Instagram and I think I'm A_J_Saunders.
Fantastic. And follow that for property and photographs of Bentleys, yeah?
And Monaco.
Yes. That's brilliant. There we have it. AJ is an entrepreneur. He runs a business selling a course showing you how to create content that drives sales for people who are wanting to start a blog or whose blogs are running a little bit dry and need an extra catalyst to get things going. He managed to get his first customer by selling Kindle books about learning to play guitar. His most recommended SaaS product is Grammarly, but he also loves spending time on Instagram. His most recommended book is The Snowball by Alice Schroeder, all about Warren Buffett's journey. And it's a thick read, 600 pages or so. And he loves watching the YouTube channels of Noah Kagan, the CEO of AppSumo, and the Mob Report, which is about true crime. He's also mentioned the Hubby Garage, which is all about Hubie. The Hubie Garage. It's all about dumb cars and renovations there. And he thinks we should keep an eye out on Eric Lee, the author of the Savvy Saturdays newsletter. Eric Lee is a up-and-coming star, I agree. And you can find out more about AJ and the How to Create Content That Drives Sales course by heading to ajsdigitalgroup.co.uk. That's ajsdigitalgroup.co.uk. AJ, thanks for joining us on the JOD Pod.
Absolutely incredible. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us on today's interview on the JOD Pod. To ensure you don't miss any of these episodes, make sure that you subscribe, hit that button, bang that bell. And if you've got any questions for me or AJ, make sure you leave them in the comments below and we'll sure to get back to every single one of them. Go build something and inspire the next generation. See you next time. If you enjoyed this interview, why don't you check out some of these other interviews that we've done on the JOD Pod. More inspirational CEOs, coaches, entrepreneurs, founders, and authors. I'm sure there's something here that will inspire you to build something new.